Hello players, isn't it great moving into the future where you just rent everything? Well, now there's a load of game subscription services, and today we'll be looking at the Xbox Game Pass for PC specifically, and to see if it's worth your eddies. To see if you're actually getting value for money, let's have a history lesson. Back in the 90s and 2000s, if you wanted to play a game that you didn't own, you had two choices. You could borrow it from a friend or rent it, and there was a lot of rental services back then. The biggest, of course, being Blockbuster. Oh, Blockbuster, we miss you. But there was some small independents as well. I remember being 7 or 8 and there was a game rental guy who kitted out his van and delivered rentals to your house. I think it was about £4 or £5, and he would collect it the next week. Pricing for Blockbuster is going to vary wildly depending on where you are in the world, but the average price was about $8 US for a week rental and about $5 US for a 3-day weekend rental. So on average, that's about $1.40 per day per game. Now we have a baseline of $1.40 per day. It helps to treat all of these game subscription services as rental platforms, because in essence, that's what they are. I mean, you don't own anything at the end of it. But if you was to rent one game at Blockbuster for a month, that will cost about $42. And the Xbox Game Pass is just $10 a month. And you have access to a bunch of games. Great, case closed. Oh, no, there's more. Of course there's more. Although at the moment, game subscription services seem very stable, your favorite game could disappear at any moment. I mean, just look at any TV or film subscription service and, well, yeah, the same thing can happen to your games. Okay, so with that in mind, what does your $10 a month get you? Well, quite an impressive library. The amount of smaller games vastly outweighs the bigger, heavy-hitting AAA titles, but you'll get big games like Forza, Doom Eternal, No Man's Sky, Outer Worlds, and Microsoft Flight Sim. Okay, technically not a game. And some other smaller awesome games like Among Us, Tetris Effect, Ori, Ukulele, and Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. There's over 100 games, some big and some not so big, and some are there just to make up the numbers. I am quite impressed with the game library, but it's going to be a very personal opinion depending on what games you'd like. And if you only like 2 or 3 games on the list, it's probably not worth it. A yearly cost for the basic version is £96 or $120, and if you can pick up all those games that you want for less than that in a Steam sale, well then do that, because the Xbox app for PC isn't great, and we'll get to that hot mess in a minute. So that's just games, and there are a few other perks including discounts and deals on games, but they don't seem amazing and certainly not worth signing up for those alone. Let's look at the extras you get with Ultimate, which is an extra $5 each month. If you have an Xbox as well, then this is probably the best deal. You get all of the same games plus Xbox Live Gold, which includes games with gold and online multiplayer for Xbox. If you don't have an Xbox, then the extras are borderline as to whether they're worth it or not. Ultimate allows you to play games on your Android device via the cloud. iOS is not supported yet, and that's entirely Apple's fault. And you get the basic version of EA Play, but not yet, because EA Play on Game Pass isn't available on PC just yet. It's only available on the Xbox consoles. So unless you spend a lot of time playing on Android, there's not much extra for PC users. Until EA Play is released for PC, you're probably better off sticking with the basic version. Let's move on to the app and its problems, because there might be a few deal breakers here. The app can be buggy, and I mean, well, what the hell is this? But you can use the app on your phone, and if your PC is switched on, it will download and install straight to it. So that's nice. But what it's installing is a UWP app. And if you're not familiar with UWP, it's the Universal Windows Platform. And its intention is that you have an app that can run on all UWP devices, like the Surface, a Windows Phone, Windows Desktop, and Xbox. And you don't have to make a bunch of different apps, which sounds great, except it's broken already. Because certain apps, streaming apps mostly, only work on Xbox, and there's a few apps that only work on Windows. It's far from unified, but it means that games are UWP apps as well. And the file structure and installation makes it extremely difficult to mod games or backup game saves. Another problem with UWP apps is how they handle full screen. Apparently it's up to developers to get right. But some games will only run in windowed mode, and some games are capped at 60 FPS. But the absolute worst thing, let's bring over Streets of Rage here. So we've got Streets of Rage. Okay, so this is true full screen right now, and you can see in the options we've got the full screen clicked. If we uncheck that, it'll go to windowed mode, and there we go. So we have true full screen. But if I move the mouse to the top of the screen, we get this bar. Bad bar. And not only is that immersion breaking, but if you accidentally click the top right, yep, you guessed it, you're a clever bunch, it closes the game. What the actual in case you wondered what I said there, it was This doesn't happen with a controller, of course, but if you're playing a shooter, you will hit that multiple times. Plus, it doesn't always remember the true full screen setting and can go back to windowed mode. Ugh. Now, this doesn't happen with all games, as I said, but it is enough to be annoying. In my opinion, UWP Apps still have a long way to go to match their x86 counterparts. Or, just make the games all x86. I mean, there's no benefits, only drawbacks to the end user with UWP. Well, I suppose it does have a built-in rage quit button, so there's that. Anyway, in conclusion, if you can look past all of the issues of UWP, Xbox Game Pass does offer some real value, and the future of Game Pass does look very promising. Especially after Microsoft's acquisition of Bethesda Studios, some big games will probably be coming to Game Pass. Plus, the basic EA Play is coming, which is all good. But what no one wants to see, though, is big games being exclusive to Game Pass. That's just bad for everybody. And Microsoft have some work to do with their app and UWP in general. Hopefully they can get that fixed soon. So for now, C+ with potential to do better. And you have the potential to protect your privacy online with private internet access. They help browse anonymously with a private IP, unblock censorship filters, and are the world's and mine leading VPN. They have over 24,000 servers in 77 countries around the world, and you can check them out with the link in the video description. Well, thanks for watching, guys. If you like this, there is a universal symbol of approval for expressing that emotion, and it also tells me that you want more like this. I'm planning a series on game services, so get subbed if you want to see those. Let me know in the comments what game services you are signed up for, and if you think they are worth it. So, until next time, be excellent to each other, and keep playing.